Hello everyone. I am so excited to share with you my latest project. I have not been very forward in coming out with what I'm doing. It's the way that I work best. It allows me to stay completely focused on the task at hand. After the launch of Kotodama of Scent last year, which I do hope you have a copy of, I had been working on another project, and I spoke about that other project in the actual foreword to the Kotodama of Scent. However, the Kotodama of Scent created so much interest that I realized that the second project that I'd been working on could easily be merged with the concept of Kotodama, and that was actually working with the character strengths. It's a framework which I absolutely love. Over all the years working in business, working with essential oils, I haven't met a more holistic framework to help us understand how to use essential oils so holistically. Then there was something that happened at the launch of the English version last year. My brother came along and I thought I would start off. I've actually written this story into the latest book, which I will be launching at the AIA conference in the States later this year, and then the IFA conference in London later this year, and of course I will be doing a launch in Australia. But the new book is called, I've only got the sheet of paper here, is Ma. Ma is such a beautiful word. The subtext explains the meaning of Ma, the space where you can flourish. That's the term that I like to use. There's a third subtext, a workbook to help you discover your character strengths with Japanese wisdom and the Kotodama of Scent. That is pretty much what Ma is all about. It's pretty much the sequel to the Kotodama of Scent. The Kotodama of Scent was meant to introduce you to these 28 Japanese words. I thought very carefully about why I had chosen the 28 words, and I won't go through them in detail today. And I realised that I actually haven't really done a workshop for the Kotodama of Scent when I launched the book. There's 28 very powerful yet simple words that beautifully reflect all the different nuances of Japanese culture. And the only real reason I wrote this was, as I said at the beginning of the book, there's a section which I call My Love Letter to Japan. And it was really, the main intention was for me to share with you my two major passions, my two major loves. The one is my love of aromatherapy and love of essential oils, with what I had learnt over 18 years of quite regularly visiting Japan. And I thought there was so much that we can learn from Japanese culture, from Japanese way of life. And I'm not talking about learn from Japan as a tourist. I'm just learn about Japan when you immerse yourself, become part of the culture, when you take the time to understand the culture. I must admit, in the early days, it was rather challenging for me, but it probably took me 4 or 5 years until I really was able to truly appreciate what Japan can offer the rest of the world. So the idea for Kotodama of Scent has been in the back of my mind for so long. But all I did here was I chose these 28 carefully chosen words. I paired them with essential oils, and I spoke about what we can learn, how we can become a better person through incorporating the philosophy underpinning those words. Or, I need to remind everyone, the word Kotodama actually refers to the power of the word, the strength of the word, often translated as the spirit of the word as well. So each word carries a certain power. Let me now explain to you what did happen at the launch in Brisbane last year. And I thought I would do it. I spoke about this in one of the chapters in the upcoming Ma. Now, Ma, I was initially going to call this the Kotodama of Scent workbook. But then when I discovered the word Ma, I had to incorporate that word into the title of the book. I had to incorporate that word into the practice of aromatherapy, because Ma is about the space between myself and this camera, for example. Now, what is the one thing that can occupy space? It's not nothing. It's not nothing. Space, the scent beautifully occupies this space, and the space allows for transformation. The space allows for that opportunity for us to look at who we are and who we are becoming. And so that is the space between those two spaces. So it's a very interesting concept that we can look at in many, many different ways. And this has become, may I say, the project. When I started this, I had no idea how long it was going to take to finish. It's over 370 pages of work. I did have a friend ask me, a colleague who's in the industry, who's just written a book himself and will be launching it soon. He was just said, Sal, how on earth do you do it? How do you find the time? And it's pretty much, I find that time, you do need to become disciplined with your time. I find when it comes to the creative component, the creative aspect, I really need to be in the right mindset. But once I've got that, once I know what I want to write about, then it's just a matter of discipline. And the discipline, it's been so exciting. It's like every morning at 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm up working on it. I usually am an early bird, but for the last several months I've been staying up later because it's got more and more exciting as you get to the end. Anyway, enough chit chat. I wanted to read a little extract from the book, and it's called Ma, A Space Where You Can Flourish, a Second Invitation. My youngest brother rarely attends my book launches. He does not live in Brisbane, so the tyranny of distance makes it difficult. So when he came to the launch of Kotodama of Scent, I understood what that meant. He has been dealing with cancer, and at the time of the launch he was experiencing challenging side effects from the treatment. The following day he sent me a text telling me how much he loved the book. He had opened it at random, the way you might open a book of oracles, and his first word was Shoganai, meaning it is what it is. I cannot imagine what it means to face cancer and learn day by day to accept the fact that it is what it is. However, reading his message, I believe that Shoganai had found him exactly at the right moment, and the word had done what Kotodama promises. It carried something true into his heart. I sat with his message and thought, if no one else in the world ever reads this book, it does not matter. It has done what it was intended to do for somebody I care deeply about. I cannot recall exactly when I first fell in love with the word Kotodama, which means that words carry spirit or power. I immediately understood its resonance with aromatherapy, just as words carry a power that can shift the way we perceive and feel. So does scent. It seems so natural to use the term Kotodama to describe the subtle, transformative power of essential oils. This workbook is the next step in that journey. In Kotodama of Scent, I introduced 28 words and explored how specific essential oils can embody their qualities. Here we go further, from recognizing the beauty of these words to understanding how they can become daily practices that strengthen our psychological well-being, deepen our relationships, and ground us in a more flourishing experience of being alive. That is the introduction to the chapter on Ma. I go on to explain why I chose the Japanese language, explain the meaning of Ma. I will look forward. Each week I'm going to do a little sound bite and share with you a little bit of this book until it's launched. It's been a very heartfelt project. Probably one of the most personal projects that I've ever done. And there's lots of little stories like this throughout the book. So it keeps the book real, I suppose. So I will look forward to sharing with you many more of the stories that are scattered throughout the space where you can flourish. And I do look forward to sharing with you the essential oil kit that I have created, 6 beautiful blends, probably the most challenging blends I've ever created, which focus around the character strengths which make up, which are very much the 28 character strengths, which are very much an important part of this book. Each of the 28 words, I have identified the key character strengths that underpin each of those words and created blends around this. I look forward to sharing with you more about the book Ma. Thank you so much, and I will see you very soon. Take care.